Welcome everybody. In this video, we are going to dive into talking about the next guided pleasure experience. I'll be introducing Hannah here and sharing a little bit about her medicine and letting her talk about her medicine as well. So if you are stumbling upon this, the guided pleasure event is happening next week, and that is what we're going to talk about is what happens in these events and why do I invite these wonderful teachers from all over the world. Hannah, welcome, and I would love for you to just introduce yourself a little bit, and then I'll share with everyone about the event.
hmm Thank you, Ian, for having me. Um, it feels like this opportunity is so poignant right now in the sense that so many men are hungry for more pleasure in their lives and wanting that deeper fulfillment, that deeper sense of what sexuality can offer us, and wanting to find how to make that happen and what are the blocks, what's in the way. And so that's a big passion area of mine. I right now am serving in Seattle as a priestess of the Temple of Sacred Arts, co-founder of that space. And at the Temple of Sacred Arts, it's a spiritual community, but we have a heavy emphasis on the body and re-sanctifying the body and harvesting and collecting and integrating the body's wisdom and exploring sexuality as one pathway to connecting with the divine, one of many pathways of connecting to the divine, and wanting to reclaim that. Many people talk about how sex is some of their most spiritual experiences. And so I relate to sexuality as a technology to expand our consciousness, to heal our hearts, and to reset our nervous systems. And so that's part of the orientation that I bring to embodiment work, sacred sexuality, and specifically working a lot with men to help them to build this skill in how to access this technology of the body.
Hmm. Wow. I love so many things you just said. And particularly what's sticking out for me is that my relationship as a man to sexuality is another path to the divine, is another way that I connect instead of this space where there are so many ingredients and elements to be a place that I very specifically disconnect from the divine. And I feel hiding and shame and tabooness, and I shouldn't do it. So it's like this instant unplug from the divine. And there's been so many beliefs and behaviors that I've noticed in myself where it's just like, wow, I just feel like I'm doing something wrong. And like having to go through a checklist in my head and be like, nope, there's nothing wrong in here, but it really feels like I'm doing something wrong here. And actually, all right, let's take that plug and plug back into the divine through my sexuality and bring in that sacredness. So, you know, obviously I'm a big fan and admire the events that you put on and all the sacredness that's in there. And I know that that's so much of the gift that you're going to bring to the men that attend this event. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for everyone, if you guys if you I know have there's a lot of new followers that have come in recently. The guided pleasure events are something I've put together where I invite in teachers to lead in an experience, and each teacher brings in their own medicine, but it is to collectively join together and activate pleasure, activate arousal through different tools and skill sets to do that in a way where there's consciousness. We're not hiding. We're not doing it alone. We're not doing it in these habits of just like putting on a porn, watching a video that pumps arousal into our brains. It is joining in collectively to activate pleasure and arousal and feel alive and feel good, but not do it in hiding. And some teachers this goes fully into you guys getting an erection and stroking and being in that level of, meditative masturbation. But my intention is to invite teachers in and they bring their own medicine. So the varieties of experiences that take place is vast. There's a lot of different styles that come into this space. But this event is going to be happening next week where we'll join together it's allotted for an hour and we'll probably have a little bit of wiggle room on the backside, but where it'll be webinar style where Hannah and I both start on the screen getting you settled in, then I'll leave and it'll be Hannah and she can lead us in any way, whether that's cameras on, cameras off, whatever. Just know that you have agency in the experience where it's you're choosing your own ride, but mostly it's going to be us being led by Hannah through this experience. And curious what you're feeling prompted in you right now, knowing that it can change as far as what kind of experience you might lead these men through.
Hmm. Well, we'll see. I've been feeling into it for a while, and who knows, I might change my mind the day of. But, and also depending on what y'all bring and what you want to work on, work through, can inform how we guide the experience because the way that I tend to facilitate things, it's really emergent. It's based on what's true and alive right here and right now. And so that's a different way of orienting than a mental, script to this is what we're doing today and just following a curriculum. So
Oh,
we'll see what wants to emerge and emerge through our bodies and that intelligence of our emotions as well of what's really present right here. And that being said, I do have some ideas. And one of the ideas that I have been considering is, well, I'll preface this a little bit by saying that I work a lot with folks doing one on one somatic healing work. And what I find very consistently across the board, whether it's with men or women, is that our voices are really shut down. People have a very difficult time expressing themselves audibly and vocally. And that is such a detriment to our sexual fulfillment and aliveness and erotic potential because our voices are a huge channel of energy and they also amplify energy and they create energy circuits. It's like a biofeedback loop.
mm,
And so, not having the voice, the throat online, we're getting a fraction of what's possible. And so, a lot of my work is integrating the voice into the body so that the whatever is happening on a sensory level inside of us is being there's congruence, there's a thread that's carrying it through and the voice is part of that thread that's carrying through our whatever is happening in our awareness. It's connecting our awareness to the sensation and allowing that to flow through the voice.
mm,
And by doing that, we're creating a holistic experience where all of our being is becoming involved. And
mm,
that is really helpful for building a sense of presence. What I find in my work a lot as well is that a lot of the men in these times have been raised on porn, and that particular way of orienting to self pleasure and arousal can be a rather disembodied and a rather mental way and can lead to some dissociation as well as just a general sense of disembodiment. It's kind of a
mhm.
A mental overlay onto the body rather than letting the body rise and the body lead and speak.
Mm, yeah.
So, thinking about navigating all these threads, and another piece of the puzzle that I've been thinking could be valuable as we explore pleasure is pain. And that's one of the number one reasons why we tend as human beings to dissociate from our bodies is because of pain.
Mm,
And it puts a cap on how much we can feel. And that doesn't just mean it's any kind of feeling. And
mm,
so if we can rebuild a relationship to pain in a healthy way,
mm.
then we can actually access whole new dimensions and arenas of pleasure that are going to blow your mind. That blow my mind all the time. So that's one of the things that I'm thinking about exploring is how to work with pain, how to let the body lead, and integrating sound. So those are some pieces that I'm considering playing with.
Well, I love that you brought in the sound piece because that lately has been blowing my mind with the more that I work with sound, just what the experience internally, what that I have. And I've been talking with the men in the community like if you work with anything, work with sound, like work with sound. Um, so it's been profound in my journey. And then I feel like it's a great connection to pain as well, because I feel like pain is one of the things that makes sound kind of come out automatically. And so, bridging that with pleasure and sound and, what is pain, this label of sensation, a particular label of a kind of sensation that could be labeled in other ways, you know? It's very vibrant, it's very alive, it's very tingly, there's all these different aspects of it. So I love all that. And yeah, for everyone listening, know that there's some freestyling in here. Like Hannah's going to be paying attention to what's being felt and what's being said and what's being expressed. So this is a living experience. It's not a stagnant experience. And that's one of my favorite things about inviting in teachers. So it's next week. Wherever you're seeing this, I'll put a link. It'll be in my stories. It'll be in my feed. There's a link to join, and I highly recommend it, man. I know that it can feel uncomfortable to join something like this. I know there's a threshold to step over of just like this is the thing that so many men have been hiding and doing alone for so long. But if you feel the pull whatsoever, like curiosity, what might this be like? I really encourage you. There are not very many opportunities you'll discover in the world where you can step into a space like this, especially at uh, the safety and comfort of your own home to explore in this own way. So, thank you so much for popping on and diving in with me today. And I look forward to sharing with the people and seeing who shows up next week.
Likewise. Yeah. Hope to see you guys there. It's going to be exploratory, hopefully revelatory, and give you some new tools for your pocket.
All right. See you guys next week.
Bye.